Episode 19, The Importance of Good Communication A1 Level. Hello everyone, and welcome back to this English podcast for beginners. In today's episode, I am going to talk about the importance of good communication. Communication is one of the most important skills in our lives. Every day, we communicate with many people. We communicate with our family. We communicate with our friends. We communicate with our teachers, classmates, neighbors, and coworkers. Good communication helps us understand other people and allows them to understand us. Without communication, life would be much more difficult. Imagine a world where nobody could speak or listen. People would find it very difficult to work together, solve problems, or build strong relationships. Communication connects people. It helps us share ideas, feelings, knowledge, and experiences. There are many different ways to communicate. The most common way is speaking. When we talk with someone, we share our thoughts using words. However, communication is much more than speaking. Listening is also an important part of communication. In fact, good communication begins with good listening. Many people think they are good listeners. However, sometimes they only wait for their turn to speak. Real listening means paying full attention to the other person. It means trying to understand their message without interrupting them. When people feel heard, they usually feel respected. Respect is one of the foundations of good communication. Another type of communication is writing. People write emails, letters, text messages, reports, and notes every day. Good writing should be clear and easy to understand. Simple language often communicates ideas better than complicated language. Reading is another part of communication. When we read books, articles, or messages, we receive information from others. Reading carefully helps us avoid misunderstandings. Body language is another form of communication. Sometimes people communicate without saying any words. A smile can show happiness. A handshake can show respect. Eye contact can show attention. Facial expressions often tell us how someone feels. For this reason, body language is an important part of communication. When learning English, communication becomes even more important. Many students focus only on grammar. Others focus only on vocabulary. These are important, but communication is the real goal. Language is a tool for connecting with people. Even if your English is not perfect, you can still communicate. Many beginners are afraid of making mistakes. They think people will laugh at them. This fear prevents them from speaking. However, mistakes are a natural part of learning. Every fluent English speaker made mistakes when they were beginners. The important thing is to keep practicing. Confidence grows through experience. I remember the first time I tried to speak English with another person. I was nervous. I spoke slowly. Sometimes I forgot words. Sometimes I made grammar mistakes. But the other person was patient and kind. That conversation gave me confidence. It taught me that communication is more important than perfection. Clear communication is also important at work. Employees communicate with managers. Managers communicate with customers. Co-workers communicate with each other. Good communication reduces mistakes and improves teamwork. Many successful companies encourage open communication. When people share ideas honestly and respectfully, better solutions often appear. Communication is equally important in families. Parents should listen to their children. Children should respect their parents. Brothers and sisters should speak kindly to one another. Families become stronger when people communicate openly and honestly. Misunderstandings often happen because people do not explain their thoughts clearly. Sometimes they assume that others understand what they mean. Instead of assuming, it is better to ask questions. Questions help clarify information. For example, if you do not understand an instruction, ask politely. If someone explains something too quickly, ask them to repeat it. There is nothing wrong with asking questions. Curiosity helps learning. Politeness also improves communication. Simple expressions such as please, thank you, excuse me, and I'm sorry show respect. These small phrases create positive conversations. People usually enjoy talking with polite individuals. Another important communication skill is empathy. Empathy means trying to understand another person's feelings. Sometimes people need advice. Other times, they simply need someone to listen. Understanding emotions makes communication more meaningful. Technology has changed communication in many ways. Today, we can send messages instantly. We can make video calls with people living on the other side of the world. We can attend online meetings. We can study with teachers from different countries. Technology has made communication faster than ever before. However, technology also creates challenges. Sometimes people spend more time texting than talking face-to-face. Online messages can also be misunderstood because we cannot hear the speaker's voice or see facial expressions. This is why choosing words carefully is important. Good communication also requires honesty. Honest people build trust. When people trust each other, relationships become stronger. Lying may solve a problem for a short time, but it usually creates bigger problems later. Honesty creates respect. Respect creates trust. Trust creates strong relationships. Learning to communicate calmly is another valuable skill. Sometimes people disagree. Disagreement is normal. Everyone has different opinions. However, respectful disagreement is much better than angry arguments. Listening carefully and speaking politely help solve conflicts peacefully. Public speaking is another form of communication. Many people are afraid of speaking in front of a group. This fear is very common. Fortunately, confidence improves with practice. The more we speak, the more comfortable we become. Preparation also helps reduce nervousness. Before giving a presentation, it is useful to organize ideas and practice speaking aloud. Reading regularly also improves communication. Books introduce new vocabulary and sentence structures. Writers often become better speakers because they have learned many ways to express ideas. Listening to podcasts is another excellent way to improve communication skills. Podcasts help learners hear natural pronunciation, rhythm, and expressions. This is one reason why you are listening to this podcast today. Every episode helps you become more familiar with English. One habit that has helped me improve communication is speaking to myself in English. Some people think this is strange, but it is very effective. I describe my daily activities. I talk about my plans. I explain what I see around me. This simple exercise improves fluency and confidence. Another helpful habit is learning new vocabulary every day. The more words you know, the easier it becomes to express your ideas. Even learning 5 new words each day creates impressive progress over time. Patience is important. Communication skills improve gradually. Nobody becomes an excellent speaker overnight. Every conversation is practice. Every mistake is a lesson. Every day brings another opportunity to improve. One thing I have learned is that good communicators are usually good listeners. They do not interrupt people. They pay attention. They ask thoughtful questions. They show genuine interest. These habits help create meaningful conversations. Communication also helps us understand different cultures. When we talk with people from different countries, we discover new traditions, ideas, and perspectives. Language becomes a bridge between cultures. It helps reduce misunderstandings and build friendships around the world. As I continue learning English, I remind myself that communication is the real purpose. The goal is not perfect grammar. The goal is connecting with people. Every conversation teaches something new. Every discussion builds confidence. Every interaction helps us grow. Before ending today's episode, I would like you to think about these questions. Do you enjoy talking with new people? What communication skill would you like to improve? Why is listening just as important as speaking? Try answering these questions in English. Thank you very much for listening to today's episode. I hope this podcast helps you improve your English while developing better communication skills. Remember, every conversation is an opportunity to learn. Speak with confidence. Listen with respect. Learn with patience. And never be afraid to use your English. Keep practicing every day. See you in the next episode. goodbye.